Okay. Deuteronomy 16:20 is the verse I think we have to start with when we're talking about those who are pursued, that is persecuted. And so because of righteousness, and Deuteronomy 16:20 is kind of the flip side of that verse. It says as follows. It says, Tzedek, tzedek tildof. Righteousness, you shall pursue righteousness.
Amen.
Leman tichya v'yarashta et haaretz. In order that you will live and inherit the land, Asher Yehovah Elohech noten lach, which Yehovah your God gives you. And there, unequivocally, the land is the land of Israel. Right? We talked in a previous episode about how the word land could be ambiguous. Is it the land of Israel? Is it the whole earth? Because in Hebrew, the word earth means both land and earth. So here it's obviously the land of Israel that God has given you, but you shall pursue righteous, or you shall righteousness you shall pursue. In the NRSV, it has justice, only justice you shall pursue.
Amen.
Righteousness, justice, it's a similar word.
Give us
Hebrew.
that verse again, Nehemia.
Deuteronomy 16, verse 20.
Verse 20.
And I want to combine that verse with the verse we looked at in the previous episode, which is Psalm 34:15.
Yes.
And if we look at Psalm 34:15, we have this pair of verses. 34:15 has turned from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. And so these two verses, Psalm 34:15 and Deuteronomy 16:20, you could say are the inspiration, are the cultural background of what Yeshua is saying up in the Sermon on the Mount. In this passage, these are the verses that are spinning around in people's heads that they'd heard in the synagogue, that they've recited in prayers, in the psalm. They heard the Levites sing in the temple. These are the verses that they're familiar with, and it's on this background that he's using this phrase, those who are pursued because of righteousness. So, now the question I ask myself when I hear about, and here it's kind of a problem to only look at verse 10.
Right.
Here's why I'm struggling a bit to only look at verse 10, because verses 11 and 12 have a continuation of the theme of persecution.
Can we peek at 11?
Can we peek at 11 and 12 is my request.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So 11 has, Ashrechem kashir yidafu v'yigadfu etchem. Happy are you, or blessed are you, when they chase and insult you, v'yamru alechem kol ra ba'adi v'chazevu, and they say, and I'm going to leave that part untranslated, we'll get back to it maybe in the plus, all evil because of me, or concerning me, and they lie. So we have people who are pursued because of righteousness, and then we have the people who are pursued because of me, meaning Yeshua in this context, presumably. And then verse 12, rejoice and be glad, and this we'll get back to for sure, for your reward is very great in heaven. For so they pursued the prophets. So we have three references here to being pursued, that is persecuted. They're chasing after, they're pursuing for righteousness, they're pursuing because of Yeshua, and they pursued the prophets. Right? And those may all three be the same thing or three different things. I want to look at some incidents in the Tanakh about people being persecuted. And here's why this is important. So when I say to Hebrew University, we had a class, we had a whole, not course actually, and it was about persecution in ancient Jewish sources. And one of the premises was that persecution as a theme in Jewish literature doesn't show up until after the Tanakh. That is, in Christianity, persecution is, of course, like the ultimate ideal. Jesus was persecuted on the cross, persecuted by Pilate, persecuted by the Jews, according to how some read it. Right? His suffering and persecution is the central message, certainly of Paul and to some extent of the Gospels. Right? Right? That is, I mean, am I right? That I think it was Billy Graham who said Christ came to earth to do 3 days' work. Right? Meaning to be persecuted, to be in the grave, and that's what he said, or somebody like that said. I don't remember exactly. So it may not be the central theme necessarily of the Gospels, but each of the Gospels have that account, and it is important there, obviously. And in the Tanakh, do we have a parallel to this? So the argument is that persecution became an important motif in Christianity because of Jesus, and then later because of the early Christians who were persecuted by the Romans. Right? They were executed, persecuted, suffered under the Romans. And by the way, did you learn about this in seminary, about them suffering under the Romans? Do you know about this? I mean, to some extent, right?
Yes.
But I mean, the story I was always told is they were suffered under the Romans rather than denied Jesus. But it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Many of the people who suffered under the Romans, it was because you had to be a citizen of the Roman Empire. To fulfill your civic duty, you had to participate in a sacrifice to the emperor as a god.